Good evening, my name is Andrew Boag and I'm going to talk to you this evening about public transport in Brighton and Hove. First of all, a couple of facts about myself. I worked in the public transport industry, covering both bus and rail, for 35 years, and for the past 8 years I've been running Brighton Area Bus Watch, which is a local bus users group where we work very closely with Brighton and Hove City Council and with the local bus companies. Now, a few facts about public transport in Brighton and Hove. Last year, 50 million journeys were made by bus in the Brighton and Hove area. That's the highest number per head outside London. And to put that into perspective, in Portsmouth there were just 11 million journeys made, and in Southampton there were just 20 million journeys made. Now, Brighton Rail Station is the 25th busiest station in the UK, and if you exclude London, it's the 7th busiest station outside London. So that's pretty good too. And 17 million journeys were made there last year. And if you add in the smaller stations, Hove, Portslade, Falmouth, Preston Park, you add in about another 5 or 6 million. So the total number of rail users in the city area comes to about 25 million, which is roughly half the number of people who travel by bus in the city. Now, Brighton is not a typical city, as we all know. It's very densely populated in the centre and in the inner areas, and it's very hilly in the outskirts. The road network is basically the same as it was 50 years ago, apart from the A27 Brighton bypass, and that's been good for the bus service because it means buses still go to where people want to go. In many cities these days, the bus service starts in the outskirts and takes people in and dumps them on the edge of the city centre and then goes back again. In Brighton that's not the case. Buses go right across the city centre, and that makes local journeys within the central area very easy, like going from Old Stein to Brighton Station, from London Road shops to Western Road, very easy. Brighton is of course a major visitor and shopping centre. You might be surprised to learn that 60% of people who come to Brighton as a visitor or shopping arrive by public transport and not by car. And buses in Brighton are used by everyone. There's no social stigma attached to travelling by bus in Brighton as there is in some cities, and that just encourages more people to use public transport, which is very good. We have a very young population in Brighton. A lot of students, of course, in the summer of winter, and they're big public transport users. And the attitudes, there's some very good attitudes towards sustainability in the city too. We have the first Green MP. At the moment, the Green Party is the largest single party on Brighton and Hove City Council. But I would have to say that in my experience of dealing with the council, all parties on the council have been very pro-public transport. Car ownership is low, parking is difficult and is expensive, and that's a strategy that has encouraged use of public transport too. We have very good train services. There are 6 trains an hour to London, and frequent services along the coast, westwards towards Worthing, Portsmouth and Southampton, and eastwards towards Lewes, Eastbourne and Hastings. There was a vibrant nighttime economy until March, when obviously it had to close down due to the pandemic, and hopefully that will recover again. The city can't expand very easily at the moment, or ever, because obviously to the south you've got the English Channel, and to the north you've got the South Downs National Park. So what has tended to happen in the last few years is that buildings have gone upwards. If you go along Lewes Road, you'll have seen all the new tower blocks that are going up, and there are plans for more around Brighton Marina and also Hove Station. And they're quite good actually for public transport because they're very close to areas that are already well served by public transport. Now, we have lots of good bus priority measures in Brighton. We could do with some more, but that has encouraged bus use to increase over the years. The bus companies, for their part, have invested in modern low-emission buses and in new ticketing, which has been good. And rail use has also increased substantially over the past 20 or 30 years, so that's very good. But we have some big challenges ahead. Of course, the biggest challenge at the moment is to get over COVID, and our biggest worry there is that car use has already gone back to the levels it was before March, whereas bus use is about 50% down and rail use is about 70% down. So we need to encourage more people back onto public transport in the medium term when we can. Walking and cycling is obviously important, but obviously also any new cycle schemes have to be very carefully planned, as we saw what happened in the summer on the seafront. On the railways, it's very difficult because of line capacity problems, but there are plans. There's works going on at the moment at Gatwick and plans for East Croydon. So it's been a very quick run through. Thank you very much. I'll be very pleased to answer questions.